Did you learn about the Earth's ecosystem when you were in school? I did too. Rivers, oceans, land, mountains, and such. Well, have you ever heard of the Apple ecosystem? There is such a thing. And it's all about how Apple's devices work together to make life easier. In this video, we'll take a flyover and look down on the Apple ecosystem, and I'll show you how all of their products are connected. All right, let's get started. Hi. My name is Rich and welcome to the channel. Today's video is a little different than my usual, how to use your iPad and iPhone videos. But I hope you'll stick with me because knowing how all of Apple's products fit together will give you a better understanding of how to get the most out of your iPad and iPhone, or, other Apple products for that matter. This is a two-part video, and part two will be about choosing the best devices to build out your own Apple ecosystem. So part two will be released soon, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so Apple makes a variety of products such as computers and displays and audio and entertainment devices. They make really personal devices like the Apple Watch that can do so many different things. They even cover financial services with Apple Pay and Apple Card. And when you stand back and look at it, it's amazing, really. For me, like many of you, I suspect, it started with the iPhone. When it was first released, it stood head and shoulders above everything else on the market. My iPhone made my life so much easier in a lot of ways. But frankly, I really didn't think about an ecosystem. I just wanted to use my iPhone because, my old flip phone was such a pain. After I bought the iPhone, I bought an iMac, a computer, thinking it would be awesome too, and it was beautiful to look at, but I really didn't like it since I was so used to a Microsoft PC. I'll tell you more about that at the end of the video, so stick around. Anyway, not long after the iPhone, I bought an iPad, and at the time, it didn't really do a whole lot. It was kind of like a big iPhone with no way to make a phone call. But, it was cool, and I liked it. What I didn't know was that Apple had a grand plan to connect all of these devices so that they work seamlessly together. They were slowly but surely building this incredible ecosystem. So now, when I type a reminder on my iPhone, it shows up on my iPad. And when I make a note on my iPad, it shows up on my iPhone. And I can listen to music on my iPad and then switch it over to my HomePod. And I can ask Siri on my HomePod to remind me to buy milk, and it shows up in reminders on my iPhone. And I can even ask Siri on my HomePod to make a phone call, and she'll do it using a connection to my iPhone. And my AirPods, they connect to everything. My iPhone, my iPad, my Apple TV, even my Mac. So you have a lot of incredible hardware devices that make up this ecosystem, all speaking to one another using software. And it just all works. And for me, the best part is that I don't have to figure all this stuff out, and neither do you. I don't have to jump through 37 steps to connect everything up like so many other products. I just have to log in with my Apple ID. It's one and done, and then everything just works. So the magic sauce is your Apple ID. And I made a video on the Apple ID. I'll put a link in the description below. If you haven't seen it, you might want to check it out. So Apple's goal was to build all these easy-to-use devices like the iPad, iPhone, and Mac, and connect them all together so that they seamlessly integrated with one another, making them not only powerful as a whole, but also ever so handy to use. In other words, they put together an ecosystem it's unrivaled. Okay, so what about the iMac I bought? Well, Apple certainly does things differently from Microsoft, and I fooled around with the iMac off and on for about a year, and then somewhere along the line, how to use it just clicked with me. And most of my office PCs, they would last only a few years, maybe a little bit longer if I was lucky, before I had to upgrade to keep up with software changes. But I used that iMac for about 7 years before I bought a new one. It was just so well built, and Apple supports them with software updates for years, way longer than any typical PC. And after that, I never looked back. Okay, the Apple ecosystem, it's awesome, even if it's not perfect. There's a few things I'd change on it, and I'm sure Apple's working on it. But honestly, it is way better than whatever's in second place. Okay, I hope I painted an understandable picture of the Apple ecosystem in just a few minutes. It's all about these devices speaking to one another. Well, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.